All our children want to come on over for our story this morning. So this morning's story is a little scary, but I promise it has a happy ending. All right. So it's called The Wolf in the Woods. So in a village hidden far away on the edge of a dense forest in northern Europe, there lives a small, centered little community. There was no crime, and so no policemen, and nothing much ever happened there, so there were no newspapers. But there was a night watchman who would walk around the village each night just to make sure no danger was lurking. So imagine their surprise when one morning they awoke to find the night watchman dead, and he was half eaten. "A wolf," the villagers cried. Surely this was a wolf. And so they buried the night watchman and they paid their respects. And a few weeks went by and they became less vigilant. And a few weeks later, the wolf struck again. And this time he got a young mother who was walking home late at night. And then after another few weeks, a grandmother who was out too late bringing her wash in was eaten as well. And finally, a young child. And the villagers were very distraught. And so they called a meeting. And there was a hermit that lived in the village. And they said, "Please help us." So he said, here's what they wanted him to do. They said, "Please kill the wolf." And someone else said, "Teach us how to build a wall around the village so that the wolf can't get in." And someone else asked him if he could turn the wolf into a cuddly lamb so they could pet him. And so that night, the hermit went out into the deep, dark forest, and he walked until he found the wolf. And he could feel that he was close. He could hear him breathing, and he could see his eyes glinting in the moonlight. And it seemed that he and the wolf were having a deep conversation. And so he returned to his home unharmed that night. And so the next day, the villagers crowded around him and they said, "Did you kill him? Are you going to teach us how to build a wall around our village?" And then someone else said, "Did you turn him into a woolly lamb that we can pet?" And he shook his head and he said, "No." He said, "It's much simpler than that." He said, "You only need to feed it." And at first the people were aghast. They said, "How can we feed it? Why should we feed it when all the harm he's done to us?" But after a while at nightfall, when they heard the pad, pad, pad of the wolf prowling through their streets, they would push bowls of food outside. And at first they were fearful and resentful, and then more confidently. And soon the wolf was a nightly guest. He never again harmed a hair on their heads, and they were proud to be known as the village that feeds its wolf. And so there is a little message in this story. The unknown can be very frightening and scary, but a little kindness and compassion can go a long way and make the unknown seem not quite so scary. And so with that, our story ends, and Brooks is going to come up and help us pass our flame this morning. Here, your name is not Brooks, honey. All right, Brooks. So from generation to generation, we light this flame of religious freedom. And now we're going to follow Brooks out as we sing "Go Now in Peace" and go to our religious exploration classes.